Hello everybody, it's Max McAllister back with another episode of Cycle with Max. And today I'm going to show you how to deep clean your cassette on your bike. In between routine washings and using degreaser or with your bike fully assembled, every so often it's good to deep clean your cassette and drivetrain to keep grit and stuff from working its way back into your chain and accelerating wear on the whole package. Plus, it's just nice to ride a clean bike. And so you'll need two tools to accomplish this. There's one tool that fits virtually every cassette in the universe for decades and decades now. Pretty much any bike that you'll be riding, and it's a standard cassette tool. You can find them anywhere on the internet. Any bike shop will have them in stock. So readily available, and this tool is gonna remove this nut that holds the cassette on. The other tool you'll need, there's two types of this. So for decades there was a tool that's called a chain whip, and it's basically a bar with a piece of chain. So what we need is, we can't loosen this nut right now because that's the way the freewheels. Okay, so we have to find a way to hold the cassette so that we can take that nut off. And it's no way to do it with your hand because you'll tear your hand apart and your hand's not strong enough. So they have a tool called a chain whip. Again, those are maybe $10 to $15. This tool, again, I think less than $10. But there's a new style of tool that's come out that people are kind of into. A couple of companies are making versions of this. This is a CP1 from Park Tool. I think Feedback Sports has one that's kind of like it. But basically all you're going to do is take this and hold the cassette. It's like a giant pair of pliers. Now, that nut can be pretty tight, so I'll hold this with one hand. I try and get the tools close together, and I use the tool as a pry bar. That makes it easy so I'm not straining so hard. And once you get it started, you'll feel it's got kind of serrated teeth, but that's all there is to it. So once you get it started, you're good to go. You can practically do it by finger after that. Now, so this lets you take the cassette off and clean all the cogs individually. All right, so you can see all the gunk and stuff that gets built up in your cassette. Now, you say, oh my God, this is all falling apart. How am I ever going to figure this out? Okay, it's actually easy, and a cassette will only go together one way, and so that's the good news. Now, while your cassette's off, take a moment to clean the free hub body. That's this part here is called the free hub body. Clean that, wipe it down. In some cases, if it's been an eternity since you ever put your bike together or cleaned it, your cassette will dig into the free hub body. You can see these kind of little dents and dings started here. That's where the individual cogs are digging into it as you pedal and apply force. Sometimes those dents become so big that the cassette won't just glide off like mine did. You may actually have to fight it off a little bit. If that's the case, take a flat blade screwdriver and gently, don't just go crazy, start and just make a little pry and move around, and then each cog will come off. You'll have to just work your way around each cog with a gentle pry, and the gentle pry will force it past these bumps. If yours is one where the cassette is stuck like that and very difficult to get off, you want to take a file and just file those burrs down. You can feel them, they're like there. So try and file this edge and file the top edge and kind of get it back to where it's neutral again with no bumps sticking up. All right, now to be expeditious, I'm not going to clean this all in front of you, but you would use your spray cleaner. You'll need a toothbrush of some nature. For the cassette, you can use lots of things, WD-40, gasoline, there's all kinds of things. You can sit here with your hand, you can use soapy dishwater, you can do this in the kitchen sink. Don't make your mom mad or your wife mad, who knows what. But this can be done in any number of ways. But take your time and get it, you're looking for medical clean because you're going to this level of trouble. That's what you want to do. So now you say, oh, I dropped it. How am I ever going to figure it out? It all does go in size sequentially, so you can literally just lay your cogs out in size order. All right, and I'll show you in a second what's up and what's down and all that. And you got some spacers here and your nut. Okay, it's pretty obvious which part goes first. Now, some of them are grouped. Different cassettes are built different ways, but they're all going to basically be something like this. On your free up body, there's one single bar that's narrow. All the other bars are wide. Let me get that in the light there. I'm going to put it at 12 o'clock. So see, there's one narrow guide bar there. The others are all wide. Same goes in your cassette. That's where you're going to line it up. So we're just going to pick that. I tend to put it down at 6 o'clock. That's just how I do it. It doesn't matter. You can do, but that way I know at 6 o'clock I'm just going to grab these things and start dropping them on. I'm looking for the narrow split. I'm dropping it on at 6 o'clock. Now, when we get to these cogs, there's no way to screw those up because they're stacked obviously in order. Now, there is a chance for you to put this odd, but again, it really won't let you do it. But the quickest way to make sure you just put it on right in the first place, they have numbers on them, which will be nice. And once you've cleaned this, they'll always be, you'll be able to read the numbers. One side has numbers on it. The numbers always go up, okay? So there's my 6 o'clock. I'm going to drop that on. Now, these are all spaced properly because there's spacers built in. So you can see there's a spacer there that's going to space that next cog properly. Okay, so they've got that all done for you. You don't even have to figure that out. It's super easy. Here's my numbers up, 6 o'clock. Now, let's go on to the next cog. Here's my next cog, and of course it's dirty, so I can't see right now. Okay, so here we go. Let's rinse these. Where's my numbers? There we go, numbers. Numbers up. The other way to tell is they've got some guide ramps and things if that will stick up. So let's say you're going along and you're trying to assemble your cassette and you put this on. Hey, wait a minute. That's wrong. There's no space. Okay, that's because you have to have a little spacer ring. So now you found the place where you have to have a spacer ring. That just drops on anywhere. Those don't have any guidance on them. So there you go. Now, hooray, look, I've got a nice even space there. So I'm going to need another spacer, another cog. Here's my 6 o'clock. Another spacer. Now, another cog. Here we go. Of course, you're not going to put yours back together dirty. All right, now, here's the last two. These have the spacers built into them, okay? So you don't have to figure that out, right? It's all figured out for you. That goes on, 6 o'clock. This goes on, 6 o'clock. All right, now, there's one warning here. Every once in a while you're doing this, this might get shifted around while you're doing this. Before you tighten the nut, you got to check that last cog and make sure that it's really right and that it's sitting in there. And you can look at the teeth and see they're all spaced correctly. All right, and we're going to put your nut in there. All right. This has a torque spec. You're not likely to invest in a torque wrench. You don't really have to, okay? You know, that would be cool. But I'm talking there, we're aiming to set the average user here. So you're going to tighten this nut firmly. Now, I'm not talking about so you got veins popping out. It's not like that. Just tighten the nut firmly. You'll feel it ratchet. It has it has like teeth. When it wants to stop, it's done. Don't force it past that. It's stopped. I've got some force on it. It's done. Now your cassette's nice and clean. Put your bike back together with your new, fresh, deeply clean chain, and you'll look cool and have a nice, clean, quiet working drivetrain as you go out for your ride with your friends. So enjoy that. My name's Max. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. We'll be back with more tips and how to be a better cyclist and enjoy your cycling more.